feeling restless, and we don't want to deal with what we want to do, and we turn on the television, and we take it in, we take it in, we take it in. Mind is restless. We don't want to deal with it, so we watch television. And what else is the mind doing? It's moving. It's animating gestures and body language. So he's telling us here this, how to coordinate those functions of mind. First part of that instruction is watch the mind's functioning through actions and speech. Our own actions and speech will tell us what's going on inside. And the second part of this is, and at the same time, observe the thinking process within. So we can do them together. If we notice that our body language is reflecting in a certain way, and we turn within, and we observe the thinking process within, exactly what he says there, what might that mean? It might be, you know, my knee is moving. Why is my knee moving like that? It, you know, his shoulder's getting tight, or holding tension in some part of the body. Why am I doing that? Mind, why are these muscles tight? And you'll see within that manas, mind, is causing the muscles to tense. Why? Because there's something in the memory bank of chitta that's colored probably with attraction or aversion, or something that I'm not doing that I know I need to be doing. I know what I ought to be doing, but I'm not doing it. So manas is trying to express, and it's doing so through body language. And this is what it's doing. And there's little itches and tremors. And so then sometimes if you start watching this and you think, it's easy to think, this is not what it's about, that, oh, I'm not supposed to be moving, therefore I'll sit on my hand. No, don't move. Don't let anybody see that I'm animating anything. Particularly, don't let me myself see that I'm animating, that I'm actually speaking to everybody around me with my body. And that's not the reaction that we're talking about. So it's the one that says, you know, why this leg is moving up and down. Why is that happening? And the answers will come from inside. And probably what we're going to discover is that there's habit patterns in the memory, in the chitta. There's things that I need to be doing that I'm not doing, or things that I'm doing that it would be better if I did not do. And I'm not training myself to not do them. So these inner conflicts are going on. And so we're not just seeing the details of what's going on inside with, and at the same time observe the thinking process within. What we're also learning by looking that way is how these four functions are working together. How manas and chitta and ahamkara and buddhi are working together. So again, we're learning to watch the mind's functioning by observing our own actions and speech, and at the same time we're observing the thinking process within, seeing the interplay of those four functions of mind. And it's not just a silly little exercise. It is extremely, extremely insightful. And we come to see that much, if not most, of what we're doing is operating just on habit. It's just habits that have been stored in the chitta. And they're running our lives. And a lot of it is not out of choice. So what gets clearer and clearer and clearer is buddhi. Anyway. And by seeing it, then you can do something different. Then you're at least at choice. If we don't see it, that everything in there mostly is running on autopilot, then we don't have even the ability to make a choice because we don't see what's going on. As soon as we see the interplay of those four functions of mind, and that they're animating outward through my own gestures and body language, as soon as I see that and develop the habit of observing that over and over and over, then we can make some different choices. Then we understand for ourselves. It's not just a theory in a book that says we're running on automatic. We're running on samskaras. Our karmas are playing out. And that I can change things. But nothing changes if we don't see it. And we may look at a lot of it and say, nothing needs to change. I'm perfectly content with things the way they are. I like my knee bouncing up and down. me looking like I'm stressed out or something like that. Swamiji goes on to say, referring to this not seeing as ignorance, ignorance is the mother of all diseases, discomforts, pains, and miseries. Ignorant here doesn't mean stupid. If you even look at the word ignorant, contained within the word ignorant is the word ignore. What does ignore mean? It means I'm not looking at. I'm ignoring. I'm ignoring what's going on in my own mind. I'm ignoring what's expressing and animating out of my own body language and my own speech. So let's not ignore so much. Let's have not so much ignorance. Anyway, he points out ignorance is the mother. What's the mother? That which gives birth to all the other things. Ignorance is the mother of all diseases, discomforts, pains, and miseries. A purified, quiet, and serene mind is positive and healthy. The process of meditation helps the body to remain useful and a constructive instrument. Now remember, this that we're talking about here on mind is in this section that Swamiji is calling guidelines for and goals for the first month. Right, which had to do with what? Posture. The simple act of practicing sitting still every day for a month. And what automatically starts to come up? The mind starts to come up. So he's introducing us right here in this first month. We're going through a timeline here of what's being suggested. So imagine that you're sitting there. The only expectation I'm putting on myself is that I'm going to come, I'm going to sit in this spot, and I'm going to sit still for 10 minutes. And I'm going to do it every day for a month. And what automatically happens? There's body language and gestures coming out. Well, observe them. Because it's giving me a mirror reflection of what's going on inside. And then, as he says, and at the same time, observe the thinking process within. So don't just sit there and say, I'm being still, twitch, move, scratch. Be aware that it's going on, and then at the same time observe the thinking process within, which means observing it in the context of the four functions of mind, which he just briefly described. A purified, quiet, and serene mind is positive and healthy. Such a clear mind, which has been trained to become purified and one-pointed, can in many cases also heal others. Self-healing is one of the natural physical capacities and tendencies of each person's mind. For example, suppose a person is peeling an apple and cuts her finger. Begins to bleed. You'll notice that the cells of the body act as if they have a kind of understanding, and they function in the cut to protect the injured and destroyed cells. In time, according to the health of the body's immune system, the body heals itself. Clear example, one we all know very well. But in a body whose mental and emotional processes are not coordinated, something may allow excessive cell growth there and may eventually create a growth. Due to such a lack of coordination and balance at a subtle level of mental functioning, some diseases occur and disturb our sadhana. So it's the absence of the coordination that allows it to happen. Swamiji says, I believe that if we become emotionally attached to the external objects of the world, but remain unable to unfold ourselves in our highest potential, then life is incomplete, and we become victims of discontent and dissatisfaction. Therefore, a student should apply all his or her present resources to make the body, breath, senses, and mind into healthy tools so that sadhana is accomplished. Again, we're still talking about month 1, which is simply being aware, sit still, and be aware of the body. And the other stuff with the mind naturally comes. When you attain a state of meditation in which the body has become perfectly still and quiet, it does not move, shake, or tremble. and muscle twitches no longer occur. Then there is a feeling of unusual joy, which is quite different from the other joys of worldly experience. Then, after that body is still, then you can begin to watch your breath and develop the next state of meditation, which leads us to the second month.